I don't dream of fast cars, big houses, or luxury clothes, but I do dream of owning a lot of bikes. An electric cargo bike for commuting, a carbon gravel bike for exercise, a hardtail mountain bike for bikepacking, and maybe even a titanium fixie just for the vibes. But I don't live in a world with that kind of disposable income, so I've had to make do with one bike.
This is my do everything bike. So there's a couple of things that I want out of a bike, and I think this does all of them fairly well, not perfectly, but well enough that I enjoy the time I spend on my bike. First off, I want a bike that I can use for commuting. I want to be able to go get groceries, I want to be able to go to work, meet friends, anything to not have to drive. I also wanted a bike for exercise. I love being out on my bike. I love getting it as a form of cardio. I'm not the biggest road cyclist, but I wanted something that I could still get out on the gravel trails and move my body. And lastly, I wanted a bike that I could take on bike tours and bike packing. So this is a 2019 Surly Bridge Club.
Co actually got me this bike as a birthday present. Safe to say it was the greatest birthday gift ever.
I've had this bike for about 6 years now, and I've kind of over the years added to it. I've used it to go to work a lot. I've used it to get groceries. I've also taken it on several bike touring and bike packing trips. And I ride this probably 3 or 4 times a week just for exercise. Another aspect of this build that was important to me was being able to go from one activity to the other relatively quickly. I didn't want something that I would have to sort of take apart and rebuild every time I wanted to go from bike packing to commuting or vice versa. Okay, so some of the general modifications I made to this bike. Firstly, I put a pannier rack on the back. I think this is just so versatile for commuting or bike touring. It's kind of a no-brainer. I also got this front rack, which isn't necessarily super important for bike packing or bike touring, but has been so useful for commuting. Like the amount of weird things I've put on this front rack, from pizza boxes to packages from the post office, it has just been very easy. I have some straps that I keep in my frame bag, and I can just load anything on the front really easily. I've also updated the handlebars. I have these H. Jones bars. I have a few more hand positions, which is really good when I'm on a long ride, but I also have this sort of very laid back position, which is nice for commuting. And I added pedals that have both a clip-on side and a flat side so that I can use it for commuting just in regular shoes, but then when I want to exercise, I can swap into my SVD cleat shoes and go for a nice ride. And I always keep this frame bag on here. I've just found it so useful. I keep all of my bike repair gear in here, and it's just been great for like random little things. Or I also use it to carry snacks and water on my rides that are purely for exercise, and then when I'm bike packing or bike touring, it's great extra storage. I also have these bottle cages on either side of the fork, and I use those either for long days on the bike for exercise, if I need to carry extra water, or I use them when I am bike packing or bike touring. It's another great spot to put my stuff. I also have 2 sets of tires for this bike. I have this set that's on here right now, which is a 650B. For the 650B, I can have up to a 2.6 inch tire, and that is what I have on right now, which has been great for more of the technical gravel that we have here in Squamish. I also have a 700C set, which I only have up to a 48mm tire, and that I use really if I'm just going to be bike touring. I know I'm only going to be on the roads.
Probably the only stock item on my bike at this point is the seat. Never really had an issue with it.
I am going to grab some groceries today and do some errands, so I have my commuting setup here, which is my 2 Arkel bags. This one is just a laptop bag. I use this for work a lot, but it's also if I need to put groceries or other things in it, I'll use that. And then I have this Arkel bag, which is just for groceries, and I really only ever use this if I'm going to get a lot of groceries.
I love these Arkel panniers. They are waterproof, fit a ton of groceries, and have a lifetime warranty. In general, if you don't use panniers for carrying things on your bike, I can't tell you how much better it is than using a backpack. This setup increases how often I use my bike to do errands and groceries by miles. The biggest downside to my bike is that it is heavy and slow. The Surly Bridge Club is a steel frame which is comfortable and long-lasting but heavy. With the pannier rack, bottle cages, and front rack, I haven't done the frame weight any favors. The bike also has a gear set designed for hills, which is great for bikepacking but means my speed tops out at around 33 kilometers. I'm definitely not keeping up with any road cyclists.
Okay, so this is my bike setup for bikepacking. This isn't exactly how I run my bike. It kind of changes depending on what I'm bringing, but the principle is here. So wanting to be able to go from, commuting and exercise right into bikepacking without having to buy like all the different, the saddle bag, the handlebar bag, all of the different bikepacking specific bags. I wanted to utilize my front rack and my pannier rack. So the principle with bikepacking is to keep everything sort of as in line with your bike as possible, so that when you're going, on those more narrow single track, or you're shaking a lot on gravel, you have less sort of pulling you side to side. Like the traditional pannier bags are gonna move side to side a bit more, and it's just not gonna be as comfortable. It's also a little bit more aerodynamic. So what I do is I essentially take this one 30-liter dry bag, I strap it to my front rack.
This strap setup feels super solid, and I have yet to have it fall or cause any issues.
I then strap some other things to my pannier rack. In this case, I have my foam pad, but I've also put, a second dry bag on the back. Depends on sort of what I'm bringing, how long I'm going, and what kind of bikepacking I'm doing. And then I have these two bottle cages on the front, where I'll usually put like some of my utility stuff. Generally speaking, I'll have one dry bag that'll have all of my sleeping stuff. So my sleeping bag, tent, sleeping pad. I'll have another dry bag with all of my clothing. I try and keep all of my food in my frame bag. That just kind of sort of food and water being some of the heaviest stuff that I'm bringing. It's nice to keep that sort of low and center. I find this has worked really well for me. I have also done trips where I brought a pannier, one of my panniers, and that has been good too. But I really like this setup. It's very quick and easy. The first time I did it, I used proper ratchet straps, which was a lot more time consuming. I'm now using these Sea to Summit straps, and I find these hold really well. I have no problem. It's super easy to just take these on and off, and go from my commuting setup to this bikepacking setup without having to really change my bike or get any gear that I didn't already own.
Well, thanks for watching my MTB Cribs Bike Edition. I hope it might give you some ideas for upgrading your bike.